नमस्ते गेमर्स द लेजी गेमर्स नेपालको MLBB कम्युनिटी हो। हिरो स्टोरीज, मोन्टाज क्लिप्स र टुर्नामेन्ट अपडेट्सको लागि जोइन हुनुहोस्।
Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome back to The Explainer. If you play Mobile Legends Bang Bang, you know the feeling. You lock in your favorite frontline tank, you roll confidently into the lane, and you get absolutely decimated by a hero who looks like they belong in a K-pop band. It happens to the best of us. Today, we're looking at the stark, hilarious, and honestly mind-blowing contrast between what we experience in-game and the actual canonical lore of MLBB. And our main focus for this power-scaling deep dive, the ocean gladiator himself, Atlas. So, this brings up a question that has literally plagued the player base for years. Why do literal planetary gods lose to jumpy catgirls? It's the ultimate irony of the game, right? It's a huge source of frustration for anyone who actually reads the background stories. You read the lore, you realize you're controlling ancient deities and cosmic horrors, but the second you step into the Land of Dawn, boom, you're bound by game balance and suddenly struggling to survive against teenagers with swords. Actually, one player perfectly captured this exact frustration. They said, "Yet in gameplay we get shredded by some annoying jumpy cat girl and a girl with pink hair carrying 4 different types of weapons in her briefcase." I mean, hit the nail on the head, right? It's incredibly validating. We've all been there, just getting wiped out by 1-1 or Beatrix. But to truly understand just how funny this disparity is, we need to plunge into the deep end of the lore. Let's look at exactly what Atlas is canonically capable of before he gets absolutely nerfed by the matchmaking servers. To wrap our heads around this, we gotta start with where Atlas comes from, the abysmal sea. Now, according to the lore, the currents and the high pressure down there are so unimaginably intense that they easily tear apart the most sophisticated, hardest materials created by Eruditio. You know the famous city of scholars and inventors? Yeah, their best stuff just gets completely crushed. This extreme environment sets a massive baseline for Atlas's physical durability before he even throws a single punch or casts a skill. The guy survives comfortably in a place that crushes futuristic supermetals like tin cans. Okay, to really grasp this durability, let's break down the game's power scaling chain. It's kinda wild. So step 1, Erudition possesses robots capable of ravaging entire cities. Bad news, right? Step 2, Alpha, our cyborg boy, easily outclasses those robots. We're talking dodging multiple bullets and surviving massive laboratory explosions without breaking a sweat. Then we hit step 3. The Mecha Sentry suit that Atlas wears makes Alpha look vastly inferior. And remember, Atlas literally just hopped into this suit and used it perfectly with zero practice. He's wearing armor that makes city-destroying cyborgs look like cheap wind-up toys. But wait, let's talk about his physical feats. The source material points out that the Land of Dawn is actually significantly larger than our Earth. So based on that planetary scale, the abysmal sea is estimated to be at least 20,000 feet deep. That is a massive distance. And in his lore cinematic, Atlas clears it. He jumps from the very bottom of the crushing sea to the surface in less than a single second. Let's do the math on that for a second, because it is an absolute spectacle. Traveling 20,000 feet in under a second, that equates to roughly Mach 18. Mach 18. So Atlas isn't just some slow, lumbering tank waiting in the bushes. Canonically, this massive mechanical giant is moving at extreme hypersonic speeds. Just try to picture a towering monolith of iron and magic flying at you 18 times the speed of sound. Absolutely terrifying. And hey, if his speed somehow doesn't impress you, his reaction time definitely will. The lore highlights how Atlas casually reacts to 2 massive explosions simultaneously. Now, to put this in perspective, your normal room-sized explosions expand at about 10,000 meters per second. Fast? Sure. But Atlas is getting hit by ship-sized explosions which expand anywhere between 20,000 and 50,000 meters per second. And what does he do? He dodges and tanks these hyper-fast blasts at the exact same time without getting more than a scratch on his paint job. Then, you have the sheer kinetic energy of his movement. Simply by jumping out of the ocean, Atlas forms a giant whirlpool, creating a massive gap in the sea. To displace that much water instantaneously, you would need tsunami-level energy output. We're talking the equivalent of a 7+ magnitude earthquake. His mere movement is a literal natural disaster. He doesn't even need to actively attack to devastate a coastline. He literally just has to arrive on the scene. So, let's move along and see how this immense physical strength translates to the broader magical hierarchy of the game. In the lore, Atlas effortlessly breaks the ancient injunction magic seal. To break this seal previously, you needed an ancient relic called the Heart of Aurora. Aurora's power fueled by that heart, was strong enough to pierce the torso of Zask. And Zask? Well, Zask is a cosmic entity who actively goes around obliterating entire planets. So, through this direct scaling chain, Atlas breaking that seal puts his power output squarely in the planetary destruction tier. No big deal, right? So the crucial point is, when you add all these feats together, Atlas's true lore stats are just terrifying. We are looking at multi-continental strength, planetary-level defense, and speeds that exceed faster than light. And we know this because he catches Bane completely off guard, who canonically scales to the faster-than-light hero Freya. This completely blows the lid off what standard players think of this seemingly slow-moving crowd-control tank. But, that raises an incredible question. Is Atlas the only overpowered entity hiding in plain sight? Like, when you're just sitting in the base waiting to respawn, are the other heroes on the map holding back universe-shattering power? Well, the short answer is absolutely yes. Pivoting to the wider MLBB universe, we can see that this insane power scaling isn't just an isolated case for our favorite ocean mech.
Let's take a really quick look at the Cadia Riverlands faction. Ling literally shook an entire mountain range. Sun survived being trapped under a mountain for centuries, and then completely shattered it while in his weakest possible form. And Yuzong, he defeated all of the Oriental fighters with total ease. These are characters swinging around immense, geographical-level feats like it's a walk in the park.
But if you really want to see power levels that are completely unhinged, we've got to look at the Abyss faction. Thamus fights Brody, Benedetta, and Phovius, by the way, a guy who slaughtered a whole village with negative ease. He fights all of them at the exact same time. Alice wields country-level magic, stated to be stronger than Vexana, who destroyed all the demons in Necrokeep. Hellcurt species can travel through space in the blink of an eye and actively fought the space and time manipulator Harith. And Selena? She's on par with Aldous, who terrified the Minotaur, a beast that survived the literal vaporization of an entire city. It's a lot to process. And sitting right at the absolute peak of this chaotic abyss power scaling is Argus. The Lord describes him as an immortal fallen angel powered by Sid, the Lord of Darkness. Now, if Sid is an aspect of the Lord of Chaos, as the source material strongly suggests, this implies Argus is being fueled by a potentially universal god. Just think about that immense cosmic backing next time you casually kite him around a turret and steal his buff.
Honestly, the deeper you go, the more cosmic insanity you find. A clash between Mardus and Gadokaka literally cracked a rift in time and space, opening a portal to an entirely different universe. And then you have Cyclops, an ancient being wandering through space and time since creation who harnesses the power of the universe itself. Literal universe benders are running around the Land of Dawn, hiding in bushes waiting to gank you. It makes zero sense, but it is awesome.
Which brings us beautifully back down to earth with this incredibly relatable player quote from the thread. Played Atlas a while ago in Ranked, got beaten up by a bird that controls time. Yup, Diggy, the little time-controlling bird, is arguably one of the best mechanical counters to Atlas in the entire game. It is such a humorous, frustrating reality of game balancing. You can have all the faster-than-light, tsunami-causing lore in the world, but if a tiny owl throws an alarm clock at you, you're stunned. It really just goes to show that lore and gameplay serve two very different masters. One is meant to build this epic, sprawling universe of gods and monsters, and the other is just meant to ensure both teams have a fair competitive fight. But after learning all of this about Atlas's planetary defense, Mach 18 speed, and multi-continental strength, it really just leaves us with one final, classic internet power scaling question. Can he beat Goku, though? Keep digging into the lore, folks. There are always more secrets to uncover.
We are Nepal's leading MLBB community. Follow the Lazy Gamers on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. Tournaments are coming soon. Join us.